morning warm-ups are turning into some afternoon warm-ups real quick, huh? I gotta get it together. Hi. How's everybody on this cold Tuesday in Atlanta? It's quite cold outside, but I think it's cooler than normal around the world. People are on spring break and chilly. No, you didn't miss it. I just didn't come. Hi from Portugal. I know it's cold in Portugal. I've been in Portugal around this time, around March. Rainy and cold. You love that I do this? Thank you. I appreciate that encouragement. I need the encouragement. I have these headphones on so that YouTube can hear me properly because my iPad sound is unreliable. So, but from what I understand, Facebook can hear me fine. Let's see. Hi, I literally was just finishing warm ups, like literally. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that you guys are taking care of your voice. I'm so glad to hear that. I will say, ever since I did the nasal flush, clearly I must have done something wrong. Well, I don't know, but it's been bothering my ears ever since. So I think it's left some of the fluid in my ears. And so I'm just kind of praying that it doesn't turn into an ear infection because my ears have been rather itchy ever since I did the nasal irrigation. I have been feeling funny in my ears. So I just thought I would give you that update. Like my ear just popped just now. And according to the paper, it could have been because I blew my nose too hard afterward. I don't know. Oh, you're welcome, Michelle. Thank you for joining. Hi, Alicia. Hi, Greg. Hi, George. Hi, Shanifa. Hi, Raymond. Thank you for joining. Hi, Miss Shirley. Hi, Lance. I am going to get started in a second. Hi from Germany. Hi. I'm guessing, so your name is spelled Jan, but I'm guessing it's because you're German. I'm guessing that's Jan, right? Jan from Germany. Hi. All right. So let's get started. As you can imagine, well, I'm a little tiny bit warmed up, but not really. I do have less mucus ever since I did the irrigation thing, the nasal irrigation, the neti pot. But again, my ears feel weird. So we'll see. We'll see what's really going on. Hi, Latoya. Hi, John. Hi, Ed. Is it Etsy? All right. So let's get started anyway. I did not eat what I ate just now. Wasn't the best thing to eat before singing. I had spaghetti and I like a lot of Parmesan cheese. So I'm sure that will be surfacing while I'm singing, but let's do it anyhow. Yeah, I think that's if you find yourself while you're lip trilling, if you find your throat getting tense, pull your chin down and just move from side to side. Keep it relaxed. Remember, high notes are to be hit with your core, not with your throat. You hit high notes with your core, okay? That's the spaghetti saying, "Hey, remember me?" Okay. That's one. All right. Did we get through it? That was pretty fast. Um, e, 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 e. When you know you have a voice that has a proclivity to be like this dark, raspy, E's are the best vowels to warm up on because they're forward and they're bright, and that's the goal that you have. Now, if you tend to have the opposite problem, where you tend to have a very tense, tight, overly bright voice, you tend to oversing, ah is probably going to be more of your best friend. Yeah. Another thing, don't take vowels so seriously. What do I mean? As you get higher, you have to modify vowels, right? So an E isn't really an E when you're singing it on like an F5 or something. It becomes more of an eh, you know? But you do whatever. You always want to favor um, the sound, the placement, the vocal production always trumps the vowel itself. Because the cool thing about us humans is even if you switch from E to or or we're still going to hear E. We're still going to know what you were doing. So that's the cool thing. Are you guys learning so far? I feel like I've dropped at least 2 to 3 nuggets already. Quick, quick. This might be even though I'm doing this, even though I'm doing that, my brain thinks of it as just this. This is a steady stream of air that I have to roll out. I don't think. I don't think of it like that. It's one big. My brain thinks while at the same time somehow knowing that the notes are actually moving, but I want it to give it the feel of this. Even though it's doing this, I want to give it the feel of this circle. Okay. All right. That wasn't the best, but the reason why we're doing that is it's really just to make a bright vowel a dark vowel. Because you eventually obviously want all of your vowels to be high and supported and bright and effortless. And the way that you do that is you master your bright vowels, and then you mix in a darker vowel. So instead, in the beginning of voice training, you may go right? Because ah is a more relaxed vowel. Now, this is just for the people who tend to have a darker, raspier, heavier voice. You might change your placement every time you go to ah. The goal is to put the ah in the E space. Okay, that's the point of this exercise. You learn the E space, then you learn how to put other vowels in that E space. Same thing with ooh. Ooh is forward, ah is dark. Notice I'm not going I'm allowing the lips to kind of lead the drop of the jaw. As if I'm going wow, and it all stays forward. So I'm going to stop for a second and see if anyone has questions. Why are you laughing? What did I do? What did I do? Why are you laughing? Hi, my cousin Sharma. I don't even know what I did to be funny. I really don't. I promise I don't. I'm usually on top of when I'm funny. Let's see. Oh, okay. I moved the mic because I didn't want to be too loud. Yes, it's Jan. Hi, Angelica. Hi. Okay, so we don't have any questions yet on YouTube, which is fine. I can just keep going. That wee, wee, wee. You guys are still laughing. I don't even know what's funny. Hi, Demetrius. Hi, Steven. Hi, Vincent. Hi, Roberto. Cedric, Anicia, Ray, Cynthia, Leon, Curtis, Elabode, Maurice, Reginald. Hi. Okay, so I'm just going to keep singing then. If you guys have any vocal technique questions, then let me know. The message was retracted from you, Hannah. The message was retracted, so I don't know what you said there. You've been a fan since 2008. I know, Maurice. You're the best. Maurice has literally been following me since 2008. That's crazy. That's 10 years. I feel like I should do something because I've been on YouTube for 10 years. 10 years? That was for you, Sharma. 10 years? I should sing yesterday, not today. No. I don't know how to do lip trills. Yes, you can. If you can't do lip trills, you can do the instead. I personally find that harder, but I know everyone's not me. So if that's what you prefer, then go for it. The whole goal is to learn how to support your air, get enough air pressure from your diaphragm, and get that air to the front of your face. So as long as you can do that, that's the end that we're looking for. And there's more than one way to skin a cat, so I'm fine with that. Let's see. Hi, I should probably turn this off for just a second. I have a friend. Okay, so I have a question. Okay, question. That smile. I have a tendency to go flat when I sing. What exercises can I do to combat this? I don't think not going flat requires an exercise. I think not going flat requires you to pay more attention when you are actually singing. Marquise, am I a coloratura? Probably, but I didn't train as one, not for any reason other than I wasn't that committed. I just didn't want to. But that was the direction I was going. So most likely, yes, I'm a coloratura. Who is still laughing at me? All right. Yeah. Okay. So like I was saying, I don't think there's exercises you do to make sure that you can match pitch or that you don't go flat. One thing that I had to teach myself is whatever I think the pitch is, think higher, think sharper than that. And that allows me to actually sing dead center of the pitch. And so I think it's more of a mental thing of making sure you're listening to the music and singing dead center of pitch, or retraining your ear for what dead center of pitch actually is. When I say dead center of the pitch, I hope you understand what I'm saying if English isn't your first language. I have a friend that got a nose job, and she says it changed her voice. What are your thoughts on that? I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about that stuff, but I can imagine that having a nose job maybe would change the way that you feel your resonance, which may change how you approach singing. I don't think a nose job directly affects her voice. It just may affect how she feels when she sings, and she may have to make some adjustments. How to not be pitchy. Pitchy is kind of a new age word. You just say, flat or sharp or intonation issues or whatever. But and also how to create a better transition. That's like a big, that's not a tip. That's like a big thing. Okay, so I just talked about pitch. My transitions and runs are amazing. Thank you. I'll just say the quick answer to how to transition from chest voice to head voice is making sure your soft palate is high. That's the fast answer. Question. I realized while I was singing with a praise team that I unintentionally, first of all, hi David, 3458878. While I was singing with a praise team, I unintentionally sing with a lot of grace notes. Me too. I realized while I was, okay, how to improve focus on entry notes. I think you just said it. You have to focus on it. You have to be intentional about, okay, if you are going to sing with grace notes, sing them faster. Because if you don't sing them quickly, it sounds like you're dragging the song. Or sometimes grace notes just aren't appropriate for that particular entrance. And so you have to focus and actually listen. If you're singing cover songs, which most times you are on a praise team, you have to listen more closely and see if everything is starting with a grace note or if it sounds inappropriate at a certain time and you just need to hit the note dead on. I think grace notes are part of the way that we sing in the pop, gospel, R&B realm. But sometimes you have to train yourself and focus on doing it faster so you don't sound like you're going, but it's faster. Understand? Because grace notes are there to make entrances sound graceful, right? That's why they're there. So they're not your enemy, but you got to know what you're doing, I guess. You love my life? Thank you, Perspectives, Audacity. Hi, Shireen. I am Ali from Saudi. Okay. Hi. I tend to sound very nasally when I sing. I read this may be due to how I hold my tongue. Is this true? To how I hold my tongue while I'm singing? I think it has more to do with, it's more of a soft palate issue than a tongue issue. It's a good thing if you have a high tongue, and yes, if you have a high tongue, but even in that exact same position, if I lift my soft palate, then the nasality goes away. So I think it has less to do with your tongue and more to do with the shape in the back of your throat. Let's see. Quick question. Hi, Mohammed. When I started, where is everybody from? Quick question. When I started singing, somehow my mucus started to accumulate and it makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm not really sure what the question was. I think you were just stating an observation. Can you give me okay, so I'll go to the next question. If you want to clarify that, go ahead. Let's see. can you give advice on how to train breath support? Yes. Um, the tips. I love what you are doing. Oh, thank you, Eddie. Thanks for watching. Let's see. How to train breath support. That's like another one of those. That's not a quick tip. Let me just give it to you in one. But okay, if you want a one sentence answer to how to train your breath support, you need to learn how to sing costal abdominally. You need to learn how to inhale costal abdominally and then support the air abdominally. And that is how you will learn to sing with breath support. I mean, if you know what I'm saying, that's so there are exercises that one can do. Um, anyway, okay. Okay, Muhammad is from Malaysia, Hannah from Sweden. Whoa, Hope Hewitt Pie, Kiela from the Netherlands, Marquise from California, Just Bree from South Georgia. That's awesome. Okay, so let me put you there. Does anyone have any questions? Hi, Brittany. You said something earlier and I missed it, Maurice. I remember I kept telling people you got to see this coach on YouTube and nobody listened, but I'm glad to see how far you've come. Oh boy. I appreciate you. Christy Bird. My allergies really affect my upper chest register. Anything B flat and up. I have a very high chest mix and my head voice above and G5. I think it's postnasal drip. I'm not sure. You're not sure what stops postnasal drip? I'm not. The funny thing is, somebody just inboxed me and said she could like give me a whole thing on allergies. I can't say that I know what stops postnasal drip. I know people have a lot of remedies for allergies in general that include that postnasal drip, but I don't think the goal is to stop postnasal drip. The goal is to stop the accumulating mucus that is dripping in the first place, right? So then you can have different. What did I do? Why am I so funny? Okay. So I think that, okay, so I was talking about how I just did the nasal irrigation thing, the neti pot. That will help empty your nasal passages and therefore eliminate postnasal drip. I'm sure that Flonase would do the same thing where I think what happens is your nostrils are inflamed and it takes down the inflammation, which allows you to empty out all of your nasal passages of all that mucus. Now who's angry? I don't know what's happening on my Facebook. You guys are being random today. I just want hearts and likes if I may request what I want to see across my screen. Thank you. So, thank you. See, now I'm smiling. So, I've heard garlic is very good. Garlic is very good for allergies. There was somebody else on here talking about allergies the other day. Some people are way better at the allergy talk than I am. The reason why, I mean, of course, there's all of the actual allergy medications, but we all know that those allergy medications are very, very trying to your voice, but they do work. But I don't know how much compensating with making sure you're hydrated you actually have to do to feel hydrated, because I think you just feel eternally hydrated when you use those things. Like I said, chopped raw garlic. Somebody said that really helps. A humidifier, obviously, will help clear out your nasal passages. I don't know if anyone else has suggestions on the whole You know, they talk about having the honey that is local because it already has the pollen in there. Make sure you're changing your air filters. If anyone else has any input on that, let me know. Hi, Chan. Any tips on riffs? Not particularly. I mean, do you have a question on riffs? Here's the thing with the way that I teach, I go the long way. Okay, so it's hard for me to say, oh, okay, to do a riff, just do this. Like that's weird. So the long way is, you know, have you mastered your breath support? You know, do you understand vocal placement? When you sing, is your tongue stiff or is it relaxed? Is your tongue pliable? Can it move with the notes? Stuff like that. So those are like the real questions that you need to ask in order to say, am I able to do riffs, or why am I not able to do riffs? Because it's usually connected to poor overall technique, and it has less to do with your inability to hear it or your voice's inability to move quickly or improvise. So that's my answer to that. Oh, thanks for all the hearts. I just use natural nasal spray to flush out post-nasal drip. Plus, I drink a lot of water. Okay, awesome. Who said I'm a queen? Oh, Joshua. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. I think YouTube had a few more questions. I hope this is helpful, guys. Somebody wants to know how to learn to sing. Okay. All right. Perspective, audacity. I realize I don't sing. I slur my words, and it sounds like singing. Does that make sense? Okay. Are you also the person that was talking about the grace notes? But yes, that makes sense. I had a voice teacher tell me one time, you know, you sound great, but it sounds like mush. I don't know what you're saying. So I had to learn to have a rich tone and be deliberate about really biting down on my words. And that is a discipline. It's something you just have to practice. What is the exact difference between belting and just yelling? That's a good question. I think it's a matter of aesthetic. I think it's a matter of one sounds more appealing than the other. But again, it's all aesthetic, because what I would call yelling, depending on the genre, they call that musical. I would say one sounds more controlled, one isn't over singing or under singing. One has a more deliberate sound, but again, I think it depends on the genre of what is acceptable and unacceptable in regards to the sound. Because essentially you're 99% doing the same thing, but are you doing it in a way that it's more controlled and it's within your range and it's healthy and it's authentic to the music that you're singing? Oh, I love you too. I'm going to be honest, I don't know what the best pitch app is. I've never researched a pitch app. Why don't you just get a keyboard app? I would imagine that a pitch app would be one that plays the key and then you have to sing into it and then they tell you whether or not the pitch is right or wrong. And most likely it's out there. I mean, I've never looked for it because I guess it's never been something I've needed, but I would imagine that they're out there. But I don't know. How do you decrease nasality in your voice? Again, just lift the soft palate. If you want to decrease nasality, you lift your soft palate. Lifting your soft palate also at the same time drops your tongue a little bit. It depresses your tongue, but not to the point where you're pushing down your larynx. All right? So really the difference between a focused voice and a nasal voice is the is where the stop palate is. All I did was add more space by opening up vertically in the back of my throat. All right. It's so nice you're helping people that really want to sing to make dreams come true. Aw, thanks. Thank you for answering all our questions. I can't wait to start Skype lessons with you. You are truly a blessing. Thank you, Perspectives Audacity. I appreciate it. I look forward to working with you. I have a student that is resonating, supporting, and breathing correctly, but with no vibrato. How can she add this skill? Don't look to add that skill of vibrato. If she's resonating, supporting, and breathing, what is her tongue doing? Is she when she's doing all of these things, is her head loose or is it stiff? Is she able to walk around and sing? Is she able to do any kind of physical activity and sing? Anything that requires physical activity while you sing should relax you enough, should relax you to the point that you are singing with vibrato. Some people have very, very, very light, very faint vibratos, even on at their best. So you can't expect to pull this super distinct fluttery vibrato out of everyone. Some people it's really light, some people it's really fast, some people it's really slow. But as long as they are relaxed and that's just what it is, then that's what it is. Now, also when she's singing, have you heard all parts of her voice? Have you heard her sing at her highest, at her lowest, at her loudest, at her softest? And none of these levels have you heard vibrato. Usually, no matter what the level of the singer is, even if they don't sing with a lot of vibrato, at some point, vibrato comes through. Because sometimes just running out of air, that alone makes the vibrato come through because you're finally relaxed because you're running out of air. So you're using your abdominal muscles. So I think there's more digging that you need to do to make sure that you're covering all your bases and that because sometimes you can have a client who understands breathing, understands support, understands resonance, but they are completely stiff. Can I do a vocal exercise where you sing me, that one? Me, what's your best tip for keeping the sound for high, roca chick? Yeah, if her head is stiff and her back is tense, then that is definitely the issue. You are most welcome. She has work to do. Hi. Hi. If you guys have questions, I'm going to get to it in a second, okay? Thank you guys for being on the line and watching. Who is laughing again? All right. What is your best tip for keeping the sound focused and forward? Aside, I think that okay, so for keeping the sound focused and forward, and now somebody's angry. I don't even know what's going on. I don't know what's going on my Facebook today, but what is my best tip for keeping the sound focused and forward? Consistently. I just feel like it's knowing your body. I think that's why I always talk about the approach. So there are certain songs. I wish I could think of one right now, but sometimes when you start a song or when you start a phrase, there's vowels that help you. All right, so I'm thinking. Hold on, it's almost there. It's at the tip of my tongue. So a really hard song that somebody could, their placement could just be all over the place, right? And I've been talking for like a half hour, so we don't know how this is gonna go. But let's just try it. All right. I believe in you and me. I believe that we will be in love eternally. Well, as far as I can see. So how do you keep that supported the whole time? I believe is the note that I place my, I guess, standard for the song. Like, okay, everything needs to be here. So even my I is not I believe, because that would be a lot harder. I believe in you and me. I believe that we will be. And what happens sometimes is we're so excited that there's a note that we can sing in our chest voice that we put it in our full chest, and then we have all these breaks, and then it's like, oh, I guess I can't sing. No, just be lighter in your chest voice. Everything doesn't have to be loud in order to be right. So, yeah. In love. So that's how then you can start improvising, because now your support is good. So go back to that question about improvising. So instead of saying in love, because honestly, that's a challenge to keep going da 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 da. So in love, believe in love eternally. Everything's still bright. Well, as far as I can see. See what I mean? Everything's on that E vowel. Everything's in that E space. You will always be, not you will always be the one. Keep it high. Everything stays consistent. Thank you, Cedric. Thank you for the hearts. I don't know who was angry. I don't know who thought I was funny, but I appreciate the hearts. What are the different singing technique names? I want to find more information on techniques. I don't really know what that means, to be honest. I know what I've learned is bel canto technique, which is basically straight out of classical schools. It's what people use when they're training for opera. I've heard their speech level singing. There's a whole bunch. There's a whole bunch of them, because people think that bel canto obviously takes too long or it doesn't apply to them. So then people came up with more contemporary techniques that honestly piggyback off of bel canto, but then add their, but then they, they kind of cut certain things out, and they say you don't have to worry about breadth and border. You don't have to worry about the shape of your soft palate. None of that matters. And so you kind of get a very limited, short-sighted technique. So, but there's different ones out there. And I'm not saying that each of them doesn't have something decent or usable, but I don't think it's a big picture. And I feel like the only way they can get a big picture is to refer back to bel canto. I've heard people saying Mariah was yelling and Whitney was actually belting. I don't think it's true. I think it's just what you personally like to hear, especially if you aren't yelling. I think Mariah's voice was smaller than Whitney, so it sounded like she was pushing more than Whitney was. Whitney just had a stronger, bigger voice. So when she was doing it, it sounded more controlled. It sounded like her voice could handle that kind of power. Whereas Mariah's, you could hear that. It was a bit of a stretch. It was doable because she was so talented, but she was stretching herself. Hi, Christian. Hi, Harriet. Thank you. Can I sing Daily I Shall Worship Thee? I don't know that song. Somebody on here thinks I'm so funny. That's crazy. And the thing is, I can't even see who that is, but okay. I always relate more with Mariah's voice, even though I love Whitney because I have a lighter sound. You're welcome, Deanna. Oh, vocals, your fave could never. Are you coming for Tina? Thank you, Victoria, who just came from Mariah in those comments. Oh, boy. Okay. I mean, whoever is angry, I don't even know what you're angry at. Like, I would much rather you use your words and just type and say why I'm funny or why you're angry, because I really have no idea what is going on with all these angry faces. I don't even know. In 90s and 2000s, yeah, just to be clear, right? I don't know. Any tips on how to end the phrase of the last note before you take a breath? I feel like I go flat. Well, there's a few things, right? See, you're not asking for tips. It sounds like you just need a whole voice building foundation and learn how to sing. I think that's what you need. This isn't like a tip of, you know, because you just ask, how do I start a phrase? How do I end a phrase? So it sounds like you just need, in general, how to sing, how to inhale, how to support your air. But one thing I will say is you don't cut off the air before you cut off the sound. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. They go, I can't even do what you guys do sometimes. Not y'all, the other people. But sometimes you're cutting off the sound before you cut off the air, and that causes it to either go sharp, go flat, your vibrato gets erratic, and then it just sounds like a shoelace that you didn't tie all the way. It just sounds like you left one of the laces out and there's only one bow or something. It's like, why didn't you finish that? So it's really about singing to the ends of the phrases and really like being intentional about that, being intentional about being musical. Oh, thank you, Ephraim. When do you use it? You guys like my shoe tying analogy? I need to stop with my analogies because sometimes, I don't want to hurt people's feelings. When do you use your head and chest voice, on high or low pitches? I use my head voice everywhere. I use my chest voice when I feel like I absolutely need to. Like, if I don't use my chest voice now, the song is going to be whack. That's when I use my chest voice. And sometimes that means I have to use chest voice like the whole song. But a lot of times it doesn't mean that. And so I just say, what do I have to do to not make this whack? What do I have to do to give it maximum impact? And then I do that. Hi, Shane. Shane, let me know if I can bring you on camera. Oh. I mentioned a long time ago singing classical soprano tessitura ties you out. It actually doesn't. If I'm singing soprano, classical soprano doesn't tire me out at all. I actually could sing forever and ever and ever. That was one thing, the one reason why I really wanted to. I wonder under what circumstances I said that, because actually singing classically was the most freeing type of singing. And I was like, man, I would just rather do this because I could sing forever like this. So it definitely didn't tire me out. In fact, classical singing in my mid register or lower register, like a regular alto range, that would wear me out doing that classically all the time. That's how I really realized, man, I'm really not an alto or contralto or mezzo. Who's Lauren Braxton? How do I sing without raspiness? That's why we have all these vocal placement. That's why we're talking about focus of the sound, singing high, all of that. All of that has to do with vocal placement. Hi, Shane. Uh-oh. Hi, Edwin. Really quickly. Let me see. Mm-hmm. Sometimes when I'm singing a really high song, my head voice starts to get stuffed up. I hate having to go down. Do you ever get frustrated when you can't keep up with a song in test mix all the way through? Um, yeah, but I don't really um I don't think I really go through that anymore because I just know my lane, if that makes sense. But anyway, I guess we're done for today, guys. I want to thank you guys for being with me. Is it terrible to sing one hoarse? It's definitely not helpful to sing one hoarse. You're not doing yourself any favors. So it's best to just allow your voice to recover. But I will go. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out.